Hi and welcome again to this last stage of our course Create Your Own Holoc. This is the volume 4. We're already on the last stage. In this first video, the idea is to see some tools that will help us to achieve this goal. That's to generate the pose of the character, to give us the intention to the scene that we are going to build. We will start seeing the first tool, but first we will hide the crest. Later I will explain why. Okay, let's hide everything. We only need the main body. Well, the first tool we're gonna use, we will find it in the tab Layers. Here, Layers. This tool will allow us to have like a save point. That's to say, it will be saved the character exactly as it is in this moment before we made any modification. And we will be able always to restore this basic geometry. Let's see a quick example. To create a new layer, we simply need to press this button, New Layer, and here we get a dot with the text Rec. This basically is telling us that it's going to record all the actions that we will do. If we sculpt, if we paint, if we're going to make a pose, all of these kind of things will be saved so we can restore our character in an emergency case. If we, for example, mask the character's arm, let's tilt a bit and let's rotate. Well, let's say we're going to rotate this arm a little to generate the pose we want. Let's say we'll leave it here, right? All this action that we just did, it will be saved by the layer. Simply, if we move this slider here to the center, to the 0 point, we will restore our basic position, the position we had before we implement the changes. If we go to the 1 value here to the right, again we will see the action we have just did, the modification we have just did. And in some cases, this have some extra benefits. If instead of going to the positive 1, we go to a negative value, -1, what it will do is that it will take the action we have just did and it will invert it. We will get totally the opposite. So the arm that we moved to the front now will get moved to the back. This in some cases is very useful, most of all in a personal case when I'm generating some wrinkles and things like that. It's very efficient in that case. Our next step, or best, the next tool we're gonna see, it's the Transpose Master. This is a very common tool when generating poses because it has a benefit that sets it apart from other tools. First of all, we will activate again all the subtools. The only subtool that we are going to keep inactive is the crest. Okay, we will hide another pieces that can cause some problems. For example, this plate, we will not need it for what we are going to do. Here, these belts at the chest will get us some inconveniences. Let's see what more we can skip. Okay, the plate in the shoulder. Okay, I believe this spikes. We can leave it there. That's no problem. Let's say as such, this is what we are going to need for now. As I said, the tool we're going to use is the Transpose Master. We find it here in C plugin. I will activate this panel here, and here is the Transpose Master. Basically, what this option will allow us is that it will take all the subtools that are active in this moment and will combine them in a single model. It will be a temporal combination, so it will be much easier to modify a character with different pieces and not to have to modify them one by one. What we are going to do then, well, this is a personal recommendation, and that's to leave all these subtools in the lower level of subdivision. We're going to see why. So, we'll leave active the subtools we need, and we will press all low. Okay. And now we're going to use Transpose Mesh. When we press Transpose Mesh, it will automatically take all the subtools and will take them to the lower level of subdivision so it can combine them. But it has happened to me many times that, depending on the PC that I'm working, it gets heavier, the process takes more time, and even sometimes I have lost some projects. So it's a personal recommendation. In this moment, what it is doing is that it is taking all the subtools we have active, all the visible, and is combining them to generate a subtool of low polygons with all the pieces combined. We have now our geometry. As we can see in this case, all the pieces of the full geometry have been combined in a single piece. We can see that in this only subtool we have all the pieces joined. This subtool is the combination we have just created, and up here we have the original pieces, all our separated subtools. The good thing about this method is that it will allow us to move different parts at the same time, and we will not need to modify one and one and one, so it will save us time. This is something I generally do when I create this piece, and it's that I start to group certain areas. For example, let's take all the pieces that will be joined or that the movement will be together, and we will turn it into a solid polygroup. For example, this glove and this plate should be the same polygroup because they will be moved at the same time. Any movement of the wrist of the character will have to move these pieces together, but it will not move this plate over here. It shouldn't, so we will start to fix that. We will hide with Ctrl-Shift the pieces that we will need. Let's say these three. We invert. Here we can use a moment auto group. Okay, so the task will be easier. So, what we are going to do? For example, this glove, we hide it again. The plate and this over here. And what we have here, we will turn into a solid polygroup. Ctrl W, and now we have a complete piece. And this way, one by one, we will start replicating the same process to turn all of the other pieces we need into a package. Here we have another. Here we have the arm, the plate, and the glove. Let's see, in this case, the process will be similar. Glove, plate, Control W. Okay, we have another piece. Here, 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 and here. Now, what we are going to do is that we use auto group so that we can separate the pieces, making it easier to select. We need this one, this over here, and we turn all of this into a package. We take away this arm, and this we turn to into another package. The helmet, for example, together with the eyebrows and all of this, will be another package. We have this piece here. In fact, I believe that all this sandals section, we can leave it even as a single subtool. I believe it will work this way. If not, we will change it later. And this, well, let's start to hide the pieces we don't need. Here, we don't need this, the helmet neither. Here, what we could do is that we will take all these plates that conform the front protector and we will turn them in a single polygroup. So let's hide this, 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 this. I will believe these ones too. Okay, all this piece will be a single one. Control W. We are almost finishing. This one here, here. And I believe these two too. As this piece will be very joined to the character waist, it will have a lot of modification. Maybe the only one that will get some modification is this piece, this cloth piece. So we can hide this. On all this package we can turn into a single polygon. Control W. So we basically have here in the waist 4 pieces. Well, with this we already have divided the different sections of the character and it will be much easier to hide what we don't need and to modify the character's pose. Let's go then. Let's take advantage to explain some last things that we need, and is that the Transpose Master has some other options. When we use Transpose Mesh, it takes all the subtools and combines them. That's the result we have in this moment. If we, after generate the pose, we use Transpose Subtool, it will take this piece and with the new pose, it will be get translated to the main subtools So each subtool will take the form of the sculpture. We will change into the pose we will make here. It will take the information from these subtools and will get translated to this one. Basically, that's what the Transpose Master do. We see that it has some other functions here, but we will not use them in this moment. But we can talk about these two tools that has other options that were hidden for me. When we press for first time Transpose Mesh, what it is going to do basically is, well, to combine the subtools, but if instead of using Transpose to separate them, we press Transpose Mesh again, what it will do is that it is going to give us the possibility to save the pose we have currently. We will get this window that will basically it will allow us is to save the pose. So, for example, this is the 0 pose. We will give it save the pose mesh. Let's create a folder here that's called poses. And let's call it pose 0 or pose 01 better. This is very useful to get a recent copy, a backup in case we make some mistake and we need to go back to the original piece. But instead of that, we need to load the pose. We can make that with the pose subtool. When we press for first time the pose subtool, it will take the information into the main pieces. But if we press it again, we will get another panel very similar to the one that we have just seen, and will give us the option to load the other pose. So we can make many poses, save them, and load the one we need. That's a very useful option and it has helped me a lot in different projects. With this, let's say we have the key elements that we are going to use through these videos. Now, simply what we are going to use from here is the transpose, many masks, many of them, and the help of the polygroups that we have just made. A last thing, and is that in Pinterest you can get some references to when we are doing the pose. It's very important. It's fundamental to have the references for different aspects of our character. Here I have some references. I even got some screenshots from YouTube from the movie teaser. And basically they will give us an idea of how will be the deformation of the muscles. For example, when we are doing the fist, here we will see the deformations and we will be able to copy them. Well, I believe that's all for this moment. In case you need these references, you already know, you can find it in the PDF of the CG Makers, or you can search your own references in Google or YouTube videos. We will see some of these tools later as we go sculpting. This is all for this video and see you in the next one.